Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
We have two very esteemed guests tonight, and let me start with one of them whom I have stalked very nice and proper on Instagram, and I just discovered that when Hum Panch happened, Ekta, you guys were working out of a garage. Great humble beginnings, and here we are celebrating the life of Ekta Kapoor, who's come such a long way in so many years. I mean, Twitter says she's an Indian film and TV producer, joint managing director and creative director of Balaji Telefilm. That doesn't do you justice. You should know that. You should really work on your Twitter bio. There's so much more that you bring to the table, and we'd like you to join us right now on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Ekta Kapoor. To our next very esteemed guest tonight, we have Sushant Kapoor. Wow, Sushant Kapoor, who's that guy? Sushant Singh Rajput is here, and let me tell you, I fell in love with you not through Pavitra Rishta, but through Jhalak Dikhla Ja. I think my grandma fell in love with you then, and then your life just took this dramatic turn, and here you are, and it's so good to have you here. Please welcome on stage Sushant Singh Rajput. This man needs no introduction. He's a beautiful human being, and I have loved you since Kai Po Che also, just letting you know. All right. So we have everyone on stage. We're kind of running short on time here. Let's start with unveiling this beautiful book. Do you want to spend like 30 seconds talking about it? Just 30 seconds. Yeah? Good. Okay, we all have notes.
So basically the story behind Boundless is I had no intention of being a poet. I'm a businesswoman, I'm a producer, but last summer I was in London. I'd lived abroad for 10 years, and I was just reflecting on all the experiments that I'd undertaken with my career, my education, living in different countries. And I was thinking, you know, I've changed so much. I basically want to capture that transition in some way. And honestly, I was also scared about moving back to India because I hadn't been back for 10 years. So even though this was home, it didn't really feel like coming home. So I just wrote the poems as a way to capture my own feelings, just to talk to myself. But I found the process of writing them so freeing that I basically decided to publish them in the hope that they would also help other people going through certain transitions in their life. So
that's really brave of you, and to just put all your vulnerabilities onto a book, which we're going to unveil right about now. Let's have it. Thank you so much for joining, you guys. You know, this book, she's already established that it's really a journey of, you know, her vulnerabilities through the 10 years, and to put it in the form of poetry is also like imposing a challenge on yourself. Do you guys read poetries as a form to inspire your own selves in life? I can start with Ekta. Go for it, Ekta.
See, I actually now I'm taking my
time मिलता है पढ़ने का.
वही problem वही है actually multitasking to another level, being a single mother. So I think poetry is in survival for me, but yeah, I love it because there are times when you actually need poetry to survive a lot of moments in your life, and sometimes it really helps. It has a lot of philosophy, depth, and sometimes it's boundless.
Yes. And what about you, Sushant? Because, you know, again, following you on Instagram is what we do. You really tend to philosophize life a lot, and it's not very far removed from just the basic idea that she has used to put pen to paper to write her poetry. So where does your connect with poetry?
I think it's just different ways of seeing that help us resonate, and more number of ways of seeing, the better it is. While there could be different methods of investigation, starting from science, which is my favorite, but I feel that poetry in itself is as simple truth plus it can be, you can say, cryptographic. It's a very condensed form of a feeling that a poetry can only get you to feel. not an equation, not no psychology, explanation of why the emotion, but just feeling the emotion. And that, I think, poetry has that power. And I read the book, I read the entire book, and I also feel that narrative right now is a superpower. The kind of condensed words you have put together, I felt differently, which is only to say how great the book is.
I think the beauty is that you're looking at 7-8 lines that just sort of make you think one thing to the next with every turn of the page, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I will come back to a question that is really pertinent to the book, but before that, Natasha, tell me, why did you choose the title Boundless? And what kind of a message were you trying to convey through this entire exercise, really?
So basically, in the process of writing the book, I was, because it was just very.
Were you writing a book? Did you have a book in mind when you were writing?
Exactly. So I wasn't writing a book, right? Like I was writing these poems on my notes app on my phone. So I was just writing to myself. And then I basically put the poems on Instagram, and I got such a good media reception that I decided to publish the book. But the reason I published was because I wanted to send two messages. I think the first message I wanted to send is that I really think it's important that each of us, but especially each woman, takes the time to find their own voice and identity. So that was one message. And then the second message was, I really think that, each of us can design our own lives. So that's why it's called Boundless, because I think that, each of us really, we can do what we want. We have the power to shape our lives. It's about a mindset. That's the title.
Ekta, I can't help but ask you, you revolutionized Indian television in ways that now probably sound cliche to you, ki baas yaar, ho gaya. But you can't help but appreciate your sense of accomplishment here. You started with extremely humble beginnings. I don't know what vision you had, but there was a backlash. There was an undeniable backlash. Kitne generation leaps, kitne number of episodes in every. How did you decide that this is my center, this is my core, I will not be affected by any kind of backlash?
I always say this, that I do my job with a lot of care and with a lot of irreverence, because you need nonchalance. From post-colonial era, we have had a backlash for anything populist. We have this supreme sense of, some kind of, it's classy and it's cool to say that something that is mass or popular is not cool. So I think I've lived with any kind of backlash that comes towards me, and I take it with a lot of humility. I think it's interesting because if you're spending that much time to criticize me, you're wasting that much time on somebody who doesn't care a damn. So that's a lot, I mean, that's great. मतलब हमारे देश में प्यार भी बहुत मिलता है और क्रिटिसिज्म भी बहुत मिलता है. I mean, honestly, यहाँ तो हमने सीता को भी नहीं छोड़ा. तो I mean, why people like us? We are a country that we love and we criticize. There is a small section that criticizes and there's a big section that loves. It doesn't take away or it doesn't add to me. I really believe that there is no bigger dharma than karma. I do my job, I go home. And that's all that is.
But if I were to let the audience in on a little secret, you have a very clever way of shutting the noise out by working through the night. Am I right?
It helps when you're a single mother. Trust me, night jobs help. So, yeah, it does. I work at night because not because I want to cut the noise off, but because I'm pretty much an insomniac. I sleep very little. But I actually have a very another thought to criticism, When I was reading something once about myself, I decided that after a certain point of my life, I will only look at my pictures. If the photos are good, I don't care what they write. So, I mean, there's a dialogue we put in Dirty Picture because of that, which is, परवाह नहीं थी तो परी जैसी उड़ती थी, जरा क्या सोचे कि पर कट गए.
मतलब यहाँ पे क्लेम किया जा रहा था कि मैंने बहुत दिनों से पोइट्री पढ़ी नहीं है क्योंकि हम खुद ही इतना इरशाद करते हैं अपने बैठे बैठे.
So basically the thought was that what people think of you is none of your business.
Fair enough, fair enough.